Welcome. This is the first episode of our new show, called our new game, our new fun time, called Always Bloody in Doskvol. We are, of course, playing in the city of Doskvol. We are playing Blades in the Dark, and we have a super fun crew of criminals here. I believe everyone here is relatively new to Blades in the Dark. I think Melissa has played one shot, Chris as well, and G has played 2, and John is brand new at this game. So this will be a super fun intro to the game, and no one will die a horrible, fiery, demon-possessed death.
I'm not liking the sound of that.
What do you mean? What part?
I embrace demons personally, so bring it on.
Exactly.
That won't save you, John. That won't save you.
It might. It might. Cool. So we're gonna jump in here. We're gonna set the scene here. The world of Blades in the Dark is set primarily in the city of Doskvol, which resides inside the Shattered Isles. The world itself used to be what you would consider a D&D-esque, Lord of the Rings-esque fantasy world. But then something happened. And I say something because that's the only word we can use to describe the calamity. No one knows what caused it. No one knows really what happened. No one knows how it happened. What we do know is that the gates of the underworld were destroyed. The dead, the souls, the uncollected, all flooded the world. At the same time, the sun went black, and the seas boiled and became equally inky black. Now here, in the city of Doskvol and in the world of the Shattered Isles, the sun rises for roughly 1 hour a day, and a little bit of light crests the horizon. But by and large, you exist in a world that is perpetually dark, powered by lamps, candles, lanterns, and occasionally, depending on where you are, electroplasm lamps, the newest technological format here in the world. The seas are treacherous, crewed mostly by the void fishermen, the void crews who go out onto the void sea and kill leviathans, which are massive demonic creatures. They kill them, harvest their blood, bones, sinew, bring it back to the city of Doskvol, where it is turned into plasm. And plasm is used for electroplasm, which is used to power machinery, it is used to power lights, it's used to power the very electric field that runs around the entire city, preventing ghosts from entering into the city itself. Ghosts still come here every once in a while. Someone dies, is left to rot, isn't found quick enough by the spirit wardens. But by and large, the dead are kept outside the city, and corpses are cremated quickly in the crematorium to stop any sort of untoward ghosts from popping up here in the city. But where there is organization and nobility and power, there is also industry and workhouses and smoke-choked alleyways, brow-beaten dock workers, factories full of child laborers. This is very much what you would consider to be the dark times of the Industrial Revolution in mixed with Victorian London, right? But where there is all of these things, there is opportunity. Opportunity for those who have less and want more. You have less and want more. You want everything. You are, as luck would have it, just a handful of empty vessels. And we cut down the rain-slick streets of Doskvol. We pass through many districts, and we enter into the dilapidated district of Six Towers. Six Towers is a homage to the city itself, built on the ruins of cities before it, opulence in several sections of the city. This was one of them. You'll look around the streets of Six Towers and you'll see beautiful manor houses. You'll see mansions. You'll see sprawling estates, all abutting multi-story, 100-person tenement houses, dilapidated wrought iron fences. These crumbling manors are a symbol for society. Once this was the opulent jewel of the city, and then White Crown was built. And everyone who could, everyone who had the money, the power, the wherewithal to move, to relocate or abandon their estate and build anew, did so in White Crown, and left their homes rotting like corpses in the road. And that is where we are tonight, in the city of Doskvol, in the district of Six Towers. We see the rain-strict streets, these cobblestone streets. We see rusted wrought iron fences. We see people sleeping in streets. We see people gathered around fire barrels. We see someone skulking around a corner, slipping into a back alley. And we see what was once a resplendent opera house. The marquee overhead, most of the letters have fallen apart and fallen off. You see that there are a glass area in the front where there would have been a ticket taker. Glass is shattered. The ticket booth has been completely strewn about over time. Grass and green growth, or not green growth, but this murky sort of growth has sort of come up and begin to fill the cracks in here. And we see that most of the doors are barred or chained closed. And one of them looks, if you look very closely, the chain is wrapped around, but the lock is not locked. Because there are people inside this opera house. And as the camera enters into the crack in this door, we see what would have been the lobby, what would have been an area for commingling and hobnobbing and glad-handing before the opera itself. We see that there are wings that lead upstairs and wings that lead downstairs, but all of them lead towards the stage. And that is where we head. And that is where we find our crew. As we enter the slopes of these destroyed and broken and disheveled chairs and seats that line what was a resplendent opera house, we see tattered curtains on the back wall of what was once a stage for the performing arts. And behind the stage, who do we see first? And what does the backstage area look like? I throw that question to you. Great. We see Adonis Metaxi, the owner of said resplendent opera house. Adonis, you have recently come here to Doskvol to reclaim the family's honor or some such nonsense. And you have been appointed owner of this here opera house. What does Adonis look like, and what does the backstage area look like?
Sure. Appointed, the house may be a little overstated. He's definitely acquired it. Adonis has very, very dark black, kind of medium length hair, very wavy. He has a very very kind of deep, rich olive skin tone. 5 o'clock shadow. It seems to be perpetual, constantly, kind of shaving, but yeah, it's still always there. He is he's quite muscular, but still very lean. I'd say lithe is probably medium height, and at least in his kind of local home clothes, his comfortable home clothing, he's dressed very well. He tends to dress very sharp. In this case, just some very simple slacks, loose fitting shirt, and a kind of a light coat. And right now he is he's looking around the backstage area where there are just boxes kind of piled up and strewn with cobwebs. Obviously hasn't been touched in a very long time. And he's basically got a small a small piece of paper, parchment that he's taking some notes on, just trying to take inventory of what, kind of what they actually have in this opera house, and trying to make sense of this. It's again very dusty. The place has not been kept up. So although the crew has been in the opera house for a little bit of time now, clearly have not spent a whole lot of time trying to fix it up quite yet. So, and he's kind of muttering to himself, saying, "Do we clean up the inside first?" I don't know. Maybe we fix the sign outside to bring the people in. We'll have to. So much to do to attract the people.
And for a little game of popcorn here, John, who do we go to next?
Next, I think wandering backstage would be Bo.
Perfect. Bo, what do you look like, and what are you doing backstage?
So Bo is a big gentleman. He is probably 6'4", 6'5", very muscular build, quite dark-skinned. His sides of his head are shaved, but the top he's got a braid that goes about halfway down his back. Over the top of sort of a black shirt, probably modern material shirt rather than everything else he wears, is a leather sort of vest that he wears over the top of it. And hanging on his hip is a very ornate axe that he keeps with him at all times. Ceremonial, who knows? But he keeps it with him as he wanders across the back of the stage. He would be moving things, picking boxes that are in the wrong place, putting them somewhere else, doing the physical labor that others may not want to do.
And who do we jump to next?
Let's jump to Wren.
All right, so Wren is already in the room and has been listening to Adonis mutter to himself, and has provided no commentary in response. She's motionless, kind of waiting for the rest of the crew to make the decisions before she moves in. She is shorter than average height, so, petite maybe. She wears a long, weather-stained, what are they called? The Severosi coat, and it's tattered, She is frequently motionless and frequently quiet, but even when she's not moving, her eyes are moving. She's wary. She's constantly checking for exits. She's evaluating threats, and she's looking people and she's judging them. She's weighing their sins. Her hair is dark and long and pulled back, and woven through it are dozens of thin braids. And on each one is at least one tiny dark bead. She has a holster, a really big holster. I don't know, is it called a holster for a rifle? Anyway, it's a really big holster for a rifle that holds it on her back when she is not holding it herself. And on her utility belt, she has a sheathed blade on one side, and on the other side is tied a small strap of brown leather, which is etched with letters. And if you squint at it, you can read the word button. Standing next to her or following her around if she is moving is an unnaturally tall greyhound that to be named Sorrow. And at first glance, Sorrow looks like a dog, but when you give it your attention, you see that he is not quite corporeal like the rest of us. Smoke is coming off of him in wisps, and there is this unnatural aura around him. And when he moves, he kind of like stretches in ways that aren't quite natural for living things to stretch. But when he notices that your attention is on him, his little ghostly tail thumps in greeting. He's pretty friendly. So she is just paused. She's waiting for instructions. And then I get to popcorn over to Hawke.
Yes. Yeah, so I think the opera house echoes with a resounding boom as the door opens and shuts, and Hawke walks in. She's wearing a clean leather, like to the floor duster in black, and she's got a wide brim leather hat, pulled low over her eyes, of course, and everything is slick with rain, and her boots thud resoundingly on the floor as she makes her way towards the stage, her hands in her pockets. And as she approaches, she lifts her the hat up and removes it, and we see dark, almost black hair, long. She's got very angular features, pale skin, which is the norm for people who, I assume, who grow up in Doskvol, which she did. And she has brown eyes, but they're tinged almost red. And she approaches the stage, walks up, and regards Satyr.
And Satyr
As he enters, good. Sorry, good.
Oh, go ahead, Wren.
I'll just say that as Hawke enters, Sorrow approaches and circles and thumps or wags his tail, and just a friendly greeting.
Yeah, and she pulls her hands out of her pockets and black leather gloves, and he's corporate. Can he be pet?
I think so. I think he can be more corporeal at times. So
yeah. So I guess when he wants some good scritches, maybe.
Yeah.
And so she just kind of like waves, like runs her hand like over his head and like just gives him some scritches under the chin. And he tilts his head up, and so she can scritch down to his neck. And her jacket has like.
I feel like because he's incorporeal, when you go to reach for him, that part corporealizes. Any dog doesn't deny a good scratch. So you see it like in the way that like a cat would arch, you just see like that part solidify where your hand is.
Yeah, yeah. So she gives him a scratch, and she gives him a grin, and she pulls out she notices Satyr regarding her back, and she pulls out her watch chain out of her pocket and flips it up. I'm not late. And she clicks it shut.
This look is not about you being not about you being late. When you bring the rainwater in, can you leave it by the door and not bring it on the wooden stage? It's not a wood and water, not a good mix. This place is already a wreck.
Okay.
Shake off the water before you track it across the opera house.
Yeah, she will step to the edge of the stage and undo her jacket and pull it off, and she's got a what in an Akarosi you might call business casual. She's got like dark slacks on, like suspenders, like a white blouse with it's got like a, I don't know what type of collar not a pirate collar, but like got like some frill around the collar.
Ruffle.
Yeah, gruffles, but like cool, not like lame. And some
Cool
tall
ruffles.
boots, and she leans their coat over the edge of the stage so she's not on the wood of the stage, and she gives it a good shake. I'll be more careful next time, Satyr.
Just more things to fix.
Well, we could always bring people on. I don't know how we would pay for it, but
Well, we're a charity here. We're providing a service. We're providing guidance for the people.
I
to
don't
fill
recall.
their empty hearts.
I don't
They will
recall
volunteer to help us, but we have to have a place that is inviting. So to bring them in.
We could have gone with a brothel or a pub. And then she gestures to the vast open space. Sometimes you think a little too broad, I think, Satyr.
As
If you don't
Satyr
dream
has
big,
just
you
mentioned,
won't win big.
as Satyr's just mentioned that we need an inviting space, Wren takes that as instructions and finds a broom in the corner and starts sweeping some of the dust.
Bo,
Now-
Bo comes walking off the side of the stage with a mop and starts mopping up the water that Hawke split onto the floor. And he looks back and says, "A brothel sends the wrong message when you were trying to get people to join the church," as he mops up all the water.
Depends what kind of church.
We want to fill their hearts and their spirits and their minds, not just their bodies.
Well,
Okay.
no, she sits down on one of like the it was probably like floor seating, but the chair has like the seat has been moved up onto the stage because everything's all over the place. So she folds the cushion seat down, dasts some of the dust and dirt off of it, and she just sits down and crosses her legs.
You know, John, I appreciate that in our other game, Mundus Novus, that you are an unassuming guy who apparently all the ladies love, completely unbeknownst to you, like unintentional. And in this game, you've just flipped that, and now you're now you're the pursuer. You're the Pepe Le Pew of
I
Doskvol.
haven't touched anyone yet.
It's the implication, John.
Yes.
It's the implication. So you all would know, Hawke, you would know growing up in Akaros, in Doskvol specifically, times are tough for the best of folks. Whether your companions know or not, Hawke, you have a job. You have a day job. But your day job is just enough to cover your living expenses, just enough to keep up the facade of your day job. And realistically, you're not paid a lot. You're paid a living wage, which is a pittance. Satyr, you inherited, took this opera house. But the money you had before you arrived in Akaros is all but gone.
Yeah.
Bo and Wren, Wren, I believe you were a soldier, if I'm not mistaken. That's correct. Yeah, you were in the military, and you know that as Severos is a part of the Empire proper, as all things good should be. You know that the Empire has been at war with Scotland for years, and only in the last few years has that war ended, and Scotland has less than willingly joined the Empire for the good of all. But in doing so, you had spent some time in the military, and the pay is not great. The treatment is worse. And Wren, unfortunately for you, you're also fairly destitute when it comes to funding. Bo, this is one of those situations like coming to the New World. Trade has largely dried up in most places because with the advent of the train that sort of runs through the aisles, traders are less needed to bring things further distances. And so in having that, in having the void ships that like the flotillas and void ships that pilot across the sea, the electric train, or the electroplasm train rather, your services have been less at need. But the massive port and industrial city of Doskvol does call to laborers. But again, the day rate for laborers is a small pittance. Collectively, the four of you are destitute. You have this game works on the idea of coin. You can look at coin in two ways. One, you can look at it as the physical coins from like John Wick, where like this coin is worth a favor, right? But you can also look at it as an amount of money that will get a job done. So in a score, you'll be awarded with coin. But coin doesn't have an actual 1 coin is worth 10 gold. There's no actual intrinsic value to it. But you collectively have 1 coin to rub between 2 fingers, which means you are destitute. And destitution here in Doskvol means that you wish you could eat rat meat, which is a low place to be. You can afford algae, which grows in the canals that the boats go in. Maybe you can afford some algae beer or algae spirits at a local tavern if you're so willing. But a goal for you immediately would be food. You're not starving, but like I said, rat meat, which is a staple here in Doskvol, would be an improvement on your current lives. Now, there is the need for the opera house to be repaired. There is the need for a burgeoning, religious order, we'll say. There are so many needs. But my question for you guys is, what do you think you collectively need the most? And how do you plan to get it? Do you need supplicants? Do you need sacrifices? Do you need money? Do you need things? What do you think you need?
Well, sounds like we mostly need food.
Well, you're not, like I said, you're not starving. But like you're like, in like Oliver Twist, the gruel. That's basically algae gruel is what you're living on. Or in that scene of the Matrix where it's like, yeah, I have this little the little bowl of nutrient mush. That's basically what you have. Is slightly at my home table, I called it it's eating a bowl of green wet. And it tastes like green wet.
Moistness.
It tastes like wet grass.
I think we need coin, and to get coin, we have already determined that we want supplicants. We want more people to be feeding us that coin.
We need
Right.
minions.
Minions.
So I think Satyr has been part of why he's taking inventory is to get a feel for how expensive it will be to make the opera house an attractive place to pull in more supplicants, some more cult members. And what he's finding is that it's not going to be cheap. And so, yeah. So he's kind of at this point turning to the group saying, we need to find a way. We need to find a way to pull in some additional income before we can really make a play at getting people to start feeding us income.
Well, if not income, trading resources could be an option. And she kind of leans back in the chair and it creaks like really unsteadily. And she just kind of kicks her crossed foot as she ponders. I'm sure, Adonis, we need silk curtains and reupholstered chairs. Instead of possibly earning the coin for it, perhaps a tit for tat?
We do have a variety of skills that might be valuable to the right employer.
Well, I have a certain set of skills. And, yeah.
Wren looks up at Hawke with a raised eye and continues sweeping.
Now, you all, on your character sheets and on your crew sheet, you all have a number of contacts and allies who could potentially help you find a job if you are so inclined. Or, you know, you can just go round up some people and kick their asses and take their pocket money, whatever you want to do, depending on, you know, how well known you want to be around these parts and how quiet you want to keep things. Is there anyone
Street mugging lacks a certain flair.
Yeah, it lacks a certain a little joie de vivre, right? It's not a good look.
No.
Don't use French at us, Mike.
I'm so sorry.
But Bo stops for a while and looks to the others and says, "We're trying to build an opera house, right? There's another opera house not far from here. They might have some of the stuff we need."
The Weeping Arm, you mean?
The arms
Mike,
of the Weeping Lady, yeah.
Is it the arms of the Weeping Lady? Blah, blah, blah.
They're already not fond of us, but are you suggesting we steal chairs? Or, I mean, they are a charity. I don't know how much coin they would actually have for us to take.
Wren shrugs at the word charity.
Yeah, Mike, I don't remember what kind of standing does... Sorry, what is the name of this place?
Of the...
Arms of the Weeping Lady.
Yep.
Yeah. What's the social standing of the Arms of the Weeping Lady?
Well, as Satyr indicated, they are a charity, and they do help the unhoused. So... relatively good.
Okay.
We had something with them, though.
You do. You have a -2 with their status.
They don't like us.
They don't like you. Yeah. The Arms of the Weeping Lady is a grand building, formerly an opera house, also in 6 towers. Now a soup kitchen and bunkhouse for the destitute, run by the Charity of the Weeping Lady. Locals use this landmark as the demarcation between the district of 6 towers and the district of Charter Hall. And Charter Hall is like the collegiate place.
So what would we know of the interior? Does it seem like, did they clear out all the opera house-ness of it and replace it with something else? Or is it like opera house stuff is all there run down and they're just like reusing it? Like,
No. So the main area where like all the seating would be, that's gone. Like they took out the seating part because you don't need that many chairs. And they have made it into like the upper boxes and the upper area is all like basically like a tenement house. So you're not like sleeping out in the street. You can go there if there are rooms available. Basically, it's a homeless shelter and soup kitchen at the end of the day. So the majority of like the stuff that made it an opera house is gone because there's no performing arts happening there. But the structure itself is still there and Perhaps there are, backstage areas or under the stage areas that like don't need to be touched that there could be things in. But also there's a lot of people who are desperate there.
Would there be any knowledge for us of where all the stuff went when they pulled it out?
It would have been pulled out like this is not a new establishment. So it would have been pulled out a long time ago. I will also say you do know that there is some religious connotation to the Weeping Lady. So not only are they a rival opera house in structure alone, they're also a bit of a rival religion in Six Towers. I mean, there are cults everywhere, all over the place. If you turn over a rock, you'll find a cultist. But the official religion, of course, here being the Church of the Ecstasy of the Flesh. But there is a little bit of a religious connotation to the Weeping Lady.
No, it's possible they have some things that we could convert into, take some of their religious paraphernalia away and convert it into something valuable for us. But that could be said true of many churches around here, which may be more profitable.
Is there anything we need more than... And he looks around chairs. And he looks to the roof. Anything structural that we could maybe trade for in the docks?
Well, it is raining. Did we go through and make sure the roof isn't leaking anywhere?
I imagine you've sort of set up the place to be as livable as possible, right?
Okay.
You've covered the most basic of basics. Yeah. So you all have, as I said, a couple of allies you could lead on. Hawke, you could check in with a blue coat friend. Satyr, you could reach out to an Aruvian noble who is, I presume, living in Doskvol. Bo, not entirely the most
Not
sure
much.
how this would help you, but you do have a friend who steals corpses, so that's fun. That could be useful. Wren, you have a doctor. Perhaps you and Bo can link together and make a Frankenstein. And collectively, you have a friend who is who helped your crew, who is an occultist.
Mike, I'm just thinking here.
Yeah.
One of my contacts, or I guess I should say one of my enemies? Is that the negative one? Is that an enemy?
That is an enemy.
Just
That is a rival or an enemy.
okay. So it's not someone you would go to for help, then.
You
But
could
someone
try.
who- Because this person, Grace, is an extortionist.
Yeah.
So
You could try. I mean, they may not help you. They may, or it may be known. There's no loyalty to you with your rivals, right? So there's no like code of honor here. There's no like sense of discretion. So if you're like if they give you a tip, they may also just be like, hey, also cops, and straight up be like, hey, this is what happened here.
yeah.
They're not necessarily fans of you.
We could check with Attican and see if that, from the occult perspective, if they have any knowledge of any artifacts we might be able to procure that could be traded later.
Yeah, it's always good to have a little arsenal in our piggy bank, as it were.
Is that something you want to do? You want to reach out to Attican?
He's one of our contacts, right? Like in the
He's
correct.
He's the crew.
He's the crew.
crew contact, yeah. We haven't talked to him in several weeks. If anything, it might be good just to touch base.
Okay. Any other ideas? And we'll make it so.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm thinking Hawke is thinking about possibly reaching out to her Blue Coats contact / partner and seeing if there's like in terms of like a bounty board, like if she can use official channels to find someone who's could be worth money to get or something like that.
That's not bad.
Ooh.
But I'm not. But she's not going to mention that out loud.
Yeah. I will say there is no bounty board. Vigilantism is heavily frowned upon. You're essentially living in what is like as close to a police state as possible, right? Like the police have the blue coats have an air of control over things. The inspectors have an even better air of control over things. Obviously, you know that the criminal underbelly here, Hawke, given your background and career, is far too vast for the blue coats to ever fully gain control over. Straight of like a classist cleansing across the city to regain control. There is no way that the blue coats have a full control over everything. However, vigilantism is frowned upon and often stomped out as soon as possible. Excuse me. So there is no bounty board that would sort of like encourage that level of vigilantism. Even amongst the blue coat, there may be like in the movie Deadpool style, where like there may be like a betting pool of like which guy gets got first. But like that's like an office betting pool, less of a bounty board.
I actually like that. She reaches into her mind and she thinks back to the Deadpool that's scrawled on the bathroom stall wall, so it's out of sight of their superiors. And she wants to know. No, that's not really going to work. That's not going to work.
Well, we can address the bounty board in the future.
Because I'm thinking like essentially she's going to bet on someone to die, and then her alter ego goes out and murders them.
Goes out and does some killings. Yeah.
Yeah.
That does sound like it sounds like you need the money to bet. So it sounds like you need some coin. So it sounds like that's a good follow-up score to whatever happens today to generate some coin for you guys. Okay.
You could also use your police contact to perhaps get information on any theft or robberies that were done and any leads that they have on it. And then if we find the thief, we could take the stuff that was taken, as it were. So.
Yeah, that's also kind of what I'm thinking. Like, not a bounty board, but a score profile, score profiling.
Something like that.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I'm going to think on that a little bit and see if I can figure out how to make that work. And then we can go talk to this guy, whatever his name is.
Yeah, Attican.
Okay.
Yeah. So we'll say you guys will cut from the auspices of the Opera House. To where you guys stand as we see the camera sort of hovers over as you guys are filing into what ostensibly looks like an abandoned apothecary in Lower Six Towers. You see as you walk in, the shelves themselves are lined with dust-caked bottles, faded tincture labels, glass jars that are like turned gray. And you see that there is a twisted and warped with water damage and time door behind the counter, and it opens up into I wouldn't say much nicer, but definitely a bit of an improvement from the previous room. To which you see a room full of of what to the untrained eye, of course, which you are all the trained eye, the untrained eye would look like the ravings of a lunatic madman. What you see is about 50% the ravings of a lunatic madman and 50% arcane diagrams of human bodies, of bodies of creatures you've never seen or heard of. You see that there are strangely shaped skulls with strangely shaped holes in their heads, skulls with chunks that you're not entirely sure aren't pieces of flesh on them. You see various things that could be just random stolen goods, like chalices and candelabras that are shattered and broken. You see other ones that are displayed prominently that have everything's cleaned around them, and they look almost like offering sections, as if these are somehow different than the identical one shattered on the floor, because these have been deemed relics. You see that there are circles of salt around certain objects in here. You see that there are chalk symbols on the floor. You see that there is a painted circle with symbology in it on the ceiling. And as you walk in, you can smell the burning smell of plasm lamps, which are not cheap to come by. But essentially, it's like whale oil lamps, right? You see that there are smoke stains or soot stains on the ceiling from where these candles, these lamps have been placed for such a long time that it's starting to leave that ring in here. And you see that the flames sort of flicker this weird blue-green color, sort of casting this strange light into this room. And you see the man before you. He is gaunt. You know him to have very sallow, almost like yellowed, papyrus-like skin. And you see as he's hunched over a desk, and you see he puts up one hand behind him just to hold you off for a second, and you can hear him scratching into the table as he's writing something. He completes his writing. He rolls up the paper. He shoves it into a small glass bottle, and you see him throw it into a brazier nearby, and it explodes in a gout of blue flame. He turns to you, and you see that his very greasy, bedraggled hair sort of cascades down the sides of his framing his face, and you see there are chunks of hair missing as if it is falling out of his head. He looks to be either in his mid-40s or 100. There's no real in between. You can't really tell if he just reached a certain age and his body just continued to age around him. And he stands and turns to you with very bright blue youthful eyes that move like a crazed squirrel. He is moving up and to each person, face, looking up, looking down, boots, and he's sort of bouncing around, looking at all of you, sort of taking everything in. And you see him reach down to his neck, and you see his long, bony, long-nailed fingers as he reaches in, and you see him move several dozen chains, and then he pulls one out of this thing. And you see a symbol that looks kind of like a sideways chalice. And you see him lean towards you and say, "Is this an apparition or?"
Attican, friend. How are you?
Yes, friends.
So good
Please
to
come
see
in.
you.
Come inside. Welcome. Sit. There's nowhere. There's things. There's no seat here.
Hawke steps cautiously around all the symbols on the floor and all anything that looks like a complete circle or a pentagram or a shape. She steps around it and eyeballing everything on the wall. Atticus, have you gained weight?
no. I've actually removed some. See? And he pulls open like his robe, and you see, which is, it's not really a robe. It's just layers of clothing that are long. And he like pulls it open, and you see that there is a, circular is a generous word. There's definitely a shape that is self-stitched into the side of like right below his ribs. I've recently lost some.
Oh,
Yes.
well,
Just a
where
few.
did you put it?
Oh, I used it.
Wonderful stitch work
Thank
afterwards,
you.
I must say. Clearly you did it yourself, yes?
Yes, I very, very much did. Yes, yes. I was fading in and out of consciousness as the blood pooled. But the blood was used as well. Please don't. Yes, don't think it
Waste
wasn't.
not, want not.
Of
And then
course.
when Satyr says you stitched it yourself, she gives him like a elbow, like, and then like, hmm?
And the smile on Satyr's face just does not even flinch. He just like he takes it and just
No.
Yeah.
continues to have this very kind of casual smile.
She
Very friendly.
she means it like we might need someone who could sew cushions, seat cushions. That's where she's going with that.
You when you see it, Hawke, you know that Satyr was being generous. This is, imagine you were losing a lot of blood, and in the mental state for which to cut an amount of your own body out of yourself, and then try to stitch it back up. It looks like that. It looks like he was fading in and out of consciousness as he was sewing himself up.
Yeah. Well, beggars can't be choosers.
Yeah,
So-
you know, I guess.
If we need an upholsterist,
Yeah.
then especially if he'll do it for free. Doesn't guys
I would trust Wren to shoot the needle into the thread before I would trust him to stitch anything up.
So Wren is at the back of the group and isn't moving much, but very similar to Attican. Her eyes are darting around, maybe a little bit less like a squirrel, maybe with a little bit more elegance. She's taking it all in. Simultaneously, I think that Sorrow has begun to move around the room and has approached Attican and is now sniffling at snuffling. You know those dog sounds that dogs make at the wound that is at his side. And I would like to survey the room because I want to roll some dice. Can I do that?
You can. So there's no really. So in Blades in the Dark, when you make a roll, usually you set stakes. There are really no stakes in here. But if you'd like to roll dice for the sake of rolling dice, we can roll a fortune roll and just see what happens. So
you know what I'm looking for is like opportunities, because that's what we're here for, right? Is we're looking for some work. So if he has anything around here that would indicate that he has some sort of opportunity for us to explore, I would like to find it before he mentions it.
Yeah, okay. So that sounds to me like for this fortune roll, I'm gonna say that sounds to me like a survey roll. So how many pips do you have in survey?
I have 2.
Okay, so if you, let me just verify where it is on this sheet. It's different. If you scroll down about all the way on your character sheet, on the right-hand side below your deadly friends, you'll see Roll Fortune. Go ahead and click that button and then select 2.
Okay, so I'm not rolling survey.
Nope. When you're not in a score or in the investigation part, you don't actually roll the actions because there's no stakes here. So there's no, if you roll like a 4 on a normal roll, a bad thing happens. There's no bad thing that's going to happen here. So this is just like a see how much you can see, if anything.
What's notes?
I'm sorry? Oh, that's literally like you can write a note. It will pop up in the roll. It serves no purpose.
4,
Cool.
3. Is that good? Is that bad?
Okay.
What is that?
So in this system, a 1 to 3. So you roll a number of dice equal to your pips and other bonuses that I provide you. A 1 to 3 is a failure. A 4 to 5 is a success with consequence. Normally, a 6 is a full success, and a double 6 is a crit. In this game, we only worry about the highest die rolled. So you rolled a 4. So you look around here. So that's a success. There are no consequences here, so it's like a mild success, right? You don't see everything, but you do see some things. You see... Let's see. What do you see? Got it. Okay. You see past something. You see a piece of paper, like tacked to the wall, and you see that on it are like drawings of things, right? But you don't really recognize what the hell's being drawn on here. Something that makes sense to Attican, right? But you look a little closer at this as you kind of peruse the room a little bit here. And this is a shipping manifest. This is a shipping manifest of spirit bottles. Now, spirit bottles are, as the name would suggest, bottles that would have the capacity to contain spirits, which, of course, the collection and or trafficking of spirits is illegal. This was bound for Charter Hall, which means somebody in Charter Hall is ordering and receiving spirit bottles, which, would probably be illegal, which also means, as it's illegal things are worth more money. So spirit bottles are worth money. There's no indication whether they are filled or unfilled, but if they are filled, trafficking in spirits is also worth quite a bit of money. So you see this. So on a 4, you don't really understand the full context, but you do see that. And you also do see, the insane ramblings of a madman sort of scrawled across a few pages on the desk. And you quickly glance over that, and what draws your eye rather, is you see the word empty vessel across the page here. That kind of draws you in, and it seems as though Attican is tracking something to do with the empty vessel. You're not entirely sure what he is his notes don't make sense, but that word was bolded in your mind, so you know that he's doing something, tracking or looking for or found something to do with the empty vessel.
So there was a piece of paper on the wall, and it was a shipping manifest, and about spirit what's?
Spirit bottles.
Bottles.
Yep.
So
I'm assuming that just means a spirit in a bottle, right?
So
flask with a captured spirit in it. Is that what
so
that is?
Yes and no, it could, but also the bottle that would contain a spirit must be arcanically enchanted and rune marked and whatever. You can't just you can't just drink a bottle of beer and put a spirit in there, right? So even the bottles themselves are worth money.
So it's like a Ghostbusters ghost trap. It may or may not have a ghost in it.
Correct.
Got it. Okay.
Schrodinger's ghost trap. Exactly.
Yeah. Got it.
So Wren will walk up to the wall and will just yank. You know how you can yank down a piece of paper that's pinned and just tear it off, and walk over to the desk where he's standing and drop it on the desk. Tap her finger on the spirit bottle and look at him.
He looks to you and his eyes go wide. He says, "Oh yes. This, of course, is a it's the anthropological. If I were to take apart all the pieces of a hexaract, and you can see that he's absolutely speaking nonsense, but also referring to the drawing that he did over the top of the manifest and has not." It's as though he does not even recognize that there is a manifest there at all. Yes, of course. They get this. I have actually that's part of the thing. And he motions to his ribs. I summoned one of these creatures, and I was able to dismantle his parts. And I diagrammed them as best I could before it evaporated into aether. Are you interested in the summoning of ancient beasts?
Maybe not today.
Yes.
Do you have what you need for your research?
Which one? Which research?
into summoning ancient beasts, or are you not? Are you not looking into that yourself?
Oh no, I've already summoned it. I've summoned it. I've took it apart. It evaporated into ether, and I have I have everything I need from that here on this note.
Completed. Oh,
yes,
very,
yes,
very well. Very well.
You're welcome to study it for your own uses and purposes in the summoning of the study of demonology. I've committed everything to memory, of course.
Wren will then pick up the manifest and fold it and put it in her pocket. And then we'll like unabashedly, I mean, this is his place, not hers, right? But we'll see the notes he has underneath there referencing the empty vessel, pick that up and hand that to Satyr.
Okay. You as you pick this up, Wren, it does look as though Anakin is tracing something. And you can see that you can see, given your like collective interactions with this madman, you kind of have like picked up a little bit of like his hieroglyphic, runic note taking, and you see a symbol that represents the empty vessel, and somewhere along this like Indiana Jones-esque treasure map of bullshit, there's a picture of a like a bird foot, and you know that one of the districts here in Doskvol is Crow's Foot. So you, just like as you glance at it, passing it to Satyr, it seems as though Anakin is something about the empty vessel and something about Crow's Foot, is what you get as you kind of like pass this along to Satyr. Satyr, you receive this little notebook from Wren. What are you doing with it?
He'll just see the notes that the call out to empty vessel. Is there anything else that Satyr gets out of that Wren that you didn't already ask?
Yeah, you kind of like look through this thing. Let me see here. Adonis.
But I don't really want to. I mean, right in front of him. I mean, Satyr doesn't feel comfortable just like flipping through it, but he will look at whatever was on the front. Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
Wren would be totally cool.
Wren will do it, but Satyr's not going to do it.
Yeah. You give a quick look at this. You think that Anakin is tracing some sort of relic? It's like has like located a relic relevant that he believed to be relevant to the empty vessel?
Oh. Yeah. Then,
and while he's looking at that, actually, Wren's going to take the manifest and that talks about this valuable shipment of spirit bottles and hand that to Hawke.
Okay. We'll stick with Satyr for a second here. You were going to say something to Anakin, I think.
Yeah, say, oh, this appears that you have information about a relic related to the empty vessel. What can you tell us about that?
Yes. The stealer of dreams. This is very interesting. Are you familiar with a husk?
The idea of a husk?
Yes.
An empty shell?
Yes.
Sure.
Yes.
Of course.
Okay. You collectively, you must be well aware of the purpose of the spirit wardens and the crematorium, the Bellwether crematorium. As much as I despise the place, is to burn the human corpse into whatever they burned into, smoke, I guess. But in doing so, they incinerate the spirit within, so as to prevent you from returning to our plane of existence as an enraged ghost, as fun as that would be. A husk is... How do I say this? A husk is like this. Like this. What?
An empty vessel.
An empty vessel? As she looks over the top of the shipping manifest?
Yes, like this. And he takes a random like jar of a thing off the wall, and he says, this... And he like takes the lid off this thing, and he like swills his finger in what is really grimy water or liquid. You hope it's water. This would be the spirit. This would be the spirit in here. And if he just dumps this, and you hear like a thunk of some piece of creature thunk to the ground, this would be the husk. Except you're still alive. Your body is still animated by your meats, but without any sort of spirit inside of you. And I believe someone, through the course of dreams, is stealing them. Something, or someone. Someone attached to something, perhaps, or both. Something attached to someone, or multiple things attached to each other. Here nor there. Something is stealing dreams, and in doing so, stealing dreams. The dreams are, of course, the imagination of your spirit, which is nonsense that he is spouting. But it's stealing the harvesting of the dreams, and in doing so, leaving behind just a husk. And since it is only a husk with no spirit, the spirit wardens don't seem to care. And so I believe that something is either trying to create, as you had said it, Bird, that there is a something creating vessels to be emptied, or something trying to fill one's self. And I think there is some sort of relic, or fragment of a relic, or fragment of an essence of a relic, or the essence of a dead god, or bones, or something. There's something inside of Crow's Foot that is stealing the dreams and making husks, and I want it. Well, it would be fun to have, but I would like to study it, or have it studied, or if you just tell me what you find, that would be interesting. Yes.
Interesting. Do you have any additional leads on where to start? Were we to perhaps acquire this for you with an exchange of favors, as it were?
Yes. Things in Crow's Foot are very difficult right now. I'm not sure if you're aware. There's a lot of rife with crime. This Crow's Foot. The death of the leader of the crows has thrown things into disarray. So it's very dangerous. But there is a boarding house that things appear to be centered roughly around. And from what I've been able to track down is that several husks have been found inside the boarding house. So I think something in or around or underneath or above or inside or part of the walls is stealing the dreams and therefore making the husks and is draining the spirit out of people for its own devices. And loose spirits could be used for a number of things, all of which very interesting. I would start there.
That is interesting.
It is interesting.
Which boarding house?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes. It is. In the territory of the crows. I seem to have forgotten the name of it.
That should be enough. We should be able to make use of that.
Good. What were you here for, by the way?
We wanted to see how you were getting on. Do you have everything you need?
Oh, I have everything I need and never enough.
Nope. It's the never enough that we are here to see if we can help.
Yeah, as of course anything that you bring by could be a relic of a dead god, a human sacrifice, an animal sacrifice, a demonic sacrifice, a bottle of ghosts, any number of things. You could a live Leviathan would be great if you could tow that in from the Void Sea. Would be outstanding. Anything you uncover about the ancient and horrible world we live in, I would be interested.
I think Hawke is going to kind of just step away, casually, and she's going to be reading over this manifest.
Yeah, you look at the manifest as this conversation sort of concludes here in the background of your this manifest. As you can see, there is a artistic rendering is a generous. There's a rendering of charcoal on this paper, so you're kind of quite literally reading between the lines. It appears as though a shipment of spirit bottles is being smuggled into Charter Hall. You, as a blue coat, you kind of read between the lines, and your best guess is these are being smuggled either for alchemical research or they are being smuggled on behalf of the Church of the Ecstasy of the Flesh.
In which case, they don't need those.
They don't need those. And you know, something of this sort would not be smuggled on the streets, more than likely. But you do know that in the old places, such as Charter Hall, there are catacombs beneath the streets, and perhaps that would be a great place to smuggle things. So likely, if these spirit bottles were being smuggled, they would be smuggled through the catacombs.
Through catacombs.
Now, for the players, as you are new to the world of Blades in the Dark and new to the system here, it may seem like I'm being intentionally vague with the information you're getting from the guy you're supposed to be getting a job from. And you're right. So one of the phases of play here is the gather information phase, where you basically have enough information to go on to say, this is the job we want to do. And now you must gather more information to make it easier or harder for yourself. So you essentially have the information about where and what the job is for what sounds to be like 2 jobs here. And now if you decide to go forward with this, we would go into the investigation or the gather information phase, where each of you would get 1 turn gathering information on the job you have chosen, to then make it easier on what is called the engagement roll, for which I roll to see how fucked you are when the score starts. So that is the information that Anakin provides to you, and that Hawke, you see on that paper that Wren found. And Anakin looks back and says, yes, of course, anything that you find, research books, maps, ancient tomes, a living demon, I would take any of those things, or even just the information of them, or a drawing of them, or part of their meat. That would be interesting. I've imbibed a few of them.
Is there a certain cut that you prefer?
I'm sorry, a certain what?
Cut.
Oh,
of meat.
Ooh, it depends. Is it for inscribing? If it's for inscribing, the boniest places. If it's for consumption, the meatiest of places.
She, like, cause she's got like a blue coat, like her notebook with the pen.
Yeah.
She like makes to be like taking notes.
Yeah. Are you actually taking notes down?
She's doing it more to please him.
Yeah.
But sure, she might break.
You're just
down.
drawing like a smiley face, a cat.
Yeah. Like bones, inscribe, eating meat. You know, something like that.
Yeah. I know that you are all occult, but where your level of religious fervor falls on here, you all pretty much know that you shouldn't be eating demons. If that's possible. You're not entirely sure that it is. Or creatures that you don't know what they are. At no point in any doctrine you have found does it say consume the flesh of unknown eldritch beings. So that does indicate just how mad Anakin is. But he is reliable in the fact that he does know a lot about the occult. You just have to sift through what is crazy and what isn't crazy. He says, yes, of course, anything that you could bring would be outstanding. And of course, you'd have my services of anything that I can bring to you, or anything that I can bind or unbind, or bind yourselves to, or attach your soul to a drinking vessel, or another creature, or each other, perhaps. Any sort of rituals, I'd be happy to perform on you.
She takes another note. Happy to perform.
At that, the others would hear the door open. So Bo's been standing at the door, and he's never left it. He's been checking outside the whole time, and he just opens the door, and stands there like a doorman, like letting everyone leave because he is concerned about this guy.
Bo is done with this.
Bo has
And when-
determined that we're done here.
Yeah, Wren being at the back is closest to Bo, and as she approaches to pass through the door, like points at like, I don't know, like a jar of like some kind of liquid, and something gross is inside of it, like a dead cat or maybe an organ or I don't know,
Yeah.
something like that. Points at it, like, and you know, Attican can't see her because her back's to him, and makes kind of like a that's gross face, and then like keeps going.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
Satyr
you
will
see.
just- Oh, sorry.
You see that he has a jar, Wren, that is at first it looks like just one giant, like long wet tube, and as you walk by it and you're like, that's gross, it dawns on you that, like, right before that, it dawns on you that he has taken 2 hagfish, which are like kind of like eels, like slimy, gooey eels, and he has opened them and then sewn them back together and then put them in the jar. You don't know why, but there's human centipeded hagfish together for some reason inside that jar. As you kind of walk out, as I imagine Hawke like flips her notebook closed. And Satyr, what were you saying?
Satyr would just say, Attican, wonderful to visit with you as always. We'll be in touch. Thank you so much for your time today, and may your stitching heal up quickly so that you can repeat the procedure if necessary.
Yes, yes,
So,
of course. Thank you all so much. I appreciate you inviting me here. Dinner was amazing. We'll see you.
I'm so glad you were able to join us.
Yes. And he
Carl,
goes to leave.
Sorrow's been snuffling at him this entire time, just kept, and finally just like snorts, like kind of gives a low whoop, woof, and then follows everyone out.
Yeah.
Sorry, did you say that he makes to leave?
Yeah. He said, thank you for inviting me here. Dinner was great. And he goes to leave.
Yeah. And as he goes to get up, she will put a hand on his papyrusy shoulder and like just kind of like put like a really soft hand on his cheek. Next, and like trying to like, no, you stay here. And she'll be like, next time you bring the dessert.
Yes, I can. Yes, of course, yes.
And she just gives him an
Yes.
affectionate pat on the cheek.
Okay, and then we combine the meat of the hexagon into,
And
and he
then
begins
as-
taking
as
notes
Hawke
about
and-
dessert.
And as Hawke and Satyr are walking out, Satyr will turn to Hawke and whisper, dessert might include his kidney next time. Be careful.
But look how happy he is, Satyr.
He is happy.
A
And,
man
uh,
overjoyed.
Yeah.
And who are we to take away such happiness?
He's a nice guy. He's the kind of guy who would give you the kidney right off his back.
Yeah, exactly. This is the kind of guy you want to have in your circle.
Yeah.
Not
Um,
outside.
So I think we cut from the ramshackled apothecary back to the opera house, where Adonis, I'll go to you since you are the owner of this. Where is it inside the opera house that you guys would do your crime planning? Is there like a
think
managerial
that-
office, or is there like a underground
Yeah.
thing?
I mean, there is an office. There's also the dressing room. I think the dressing room, because it would be large and it would have a little more space to kind of work than just say an office for 4 of us.
Yeah.
So I think that the dressing room is where we have kind of converted into more of a planning area office space.
Hell yeah.
It's got like a makeshift table that we just created in the center of it, right? Like, so like maybe we took like a door that's fallen off a hinge somewhere and turned it upside down on top of, or flat on top of like some crates, that kind of
Bo
thing.
mounted it with his axe. I don't know,
Yeah.
something.
Yeah, hell yeah! I love that. Melissa, thank you for the great idea. Everyone else add one feature to the war room, the planning room. So there's the door table. What is another feature here?
I got an idea. Since it's a dressing room, it has along like the back 3 walls. It has essentially like where the actors and actresses used to get ready. So it's mirrored, and they all have like the circle lights around them. But since they're all dead.
Yeah, so like a vanity.
Vanities.
Yeah.
So we can see ourselves reflected in
Hell yeah.
the grimy mirrors.
And they'd be the old school ones, right? So they would have like you'd have like the broken, the grimy mirrors, but instead of that, they're not like light bulbs because we're not there, but like it would be like those little those candle holders that have like the seashell sort of reflective, so that it bends the light inward. Yeah, absolutely.
So you could light them with candles.
You could light them with candles and give that weird, creepy ambiance of candles flickering in a dark dressing room. John and Chris, what is one other feature of this room?
I was going to say, for your nice, creepy candles in the dark, is a chandelier that's been moved from somewhere else and hung directly above the table with candles to light the map of whatever is placed upon the table.
Hell yeah. But like just a few inches above the table. Like it's like barely.
You hit your head if you try and lean over.
Hell yeah. I love it. John, what's the last feature?
And the last feature on a part of the wall that isn't covered by mirror is a large map of the city. And it's got some points of interest that are kind of circle or highlighted, including kind of where we're at in Six Towers. And then essentially these concentric, like not quite rings, but concentric circles of our growth plan. Like basically like here's how we are going to expand over time, right? Way over planned, way too soon. But that kind of like, hey, you gotta set the vision for success like right up front. So it's got this map and like here's how we're gonna grow. Like
can we put that map on the table under the lamp?
Sure.
I think it comes down, right? Like it comes down for planning, right? Because everything, it sounds like everything here is, except for the giant chandelier, is things you can kind of like you can put away the table, right? You can put that away to make it look like no crime was being planned here. So we see this room, right, with the flickering candlelight of a few bouncing off the mirrors. We see a few scant candles inside this chandelier here as someone pulls down the map and stretches it across this door that is laid horizontal. We see the folded up shipping manifest that Hawke kind of throws down on the table. Hawke's like open notebook on the table, right? We see all these circles that Adonis or that Satyr has put here in his plan to grow and take over the city for House Metaxi and the locations of enemies, right? And we sort of have this like down, or I guess side camera angle to not be blocked by the chandelier as the four of you gather around and look at your options. So you have before you two current options for which is going to be your first score. One of which is finding whatever is causing the husks to be created, the Stealer of Dreams, as Attican put it, inside Crowsfoot. What I will say is off the jump, you guys know that Crowsfoot, while everywhere is dangerous, Crowsfoot is currently in a bit of a power vacuum. In Crowsfoot, the largest gang in Crowsfoot was called the Crows. The leader of the Crows has recently been unalived, which is causing a problem. In the power vacuum of his unalivement, the Crows look weaker. And the two second largest gangs inside Crowsfoot, the Red Sashes, which is an Eruvian fighting academy turned criminals, and the Lamp Blacks, which were the lamp lighters of the days of old, who have had their jobs lost largely to the advent of the electroplasm lamps that now turn on and off when it is time to do so. So the Lamplighters Guild has now become the Lamp Blacks, all lost their job and are now criminals about it. And the Crows are a long-standing criminal organization of racketeers and, purveyors of gambling and things of that nature inside there. So there's a bit of a turf war happening, a bit of a 3-gang war happening in Crowsfoot. So that place is quite dangerous right now, but it's also pretty easy to slip in and slip out of, and pretty easy to blame your misdoings on someone else. So in there, we have something possibly related to the empty vessel, stealing the dreams of people and turning them into husks, if what Adonis says is true. Or, sorry, not Adonis, Attican says is true. The second job you have is a shipment of spirit bottles is being smuggled into the catacombs of Charter Hall for purposes yet unknown. If they are full of spirits, they are very, very expensive. If they are not full of spirits, they are still expensive, or could be used for your own personal rituals, or could be given to one of your friendly or unfriendly factions to garner favor with them. So as we see this kind of over the table here, what are you guys talking about?
I think Hawke leans both hands on the table, and she, with her finger, she pushes the notes we have regarding this relic of the empty vessel. Quite possibly we are looking at a double score here. The actual relic and the person performing the ritual. Right? I'm assuming the relic is not behaving badly, as it were, on its own. And probably someone is taking advantage of the upheaval in the in Crowsfoot. I think this is our most lucrative, or at least, no, she doesn't say lucrative. She says most interesting avenue in the moment.
Bo would tap onto the manifest, and he would point to the date and says, "This has a time limit on it.
Is there
Once
a date?
they move this,
Mm-hmm.
it's gone."
Yes, I didn't think about the date. Is there a time frame on it?
There is a time frame. So the way I typically run timed things are in this system specifically is there's always enough time. If you have multiple options, there's always enough time for you to do the timed thing, but there's not enough time for you to do both of them. The timed thing will happen after you gather information. If that's 3 days from now or 2 weeks from now, whatever it is, that will be the timed one. And if you would choose the other job, that time will have passed. Is kind of how that works. The timed thing always happens first.
Okay. So yeah,
We don't actually have a calendar or a clock or a. I'd be like, it's happening in 3 days.
Oh, good point, Bo.
I think that the relic is much more intriguing. However, I also think that will take some additional research and investigation for us to locate the right place, determine all that. And I would like us to have more time to prepare for that. And I do think that maybe going after the more immediate score would help our financial situation.
Yeah. Does the manifest specify how many spirit bottles?
It does not. But you also know that would be very like what you have here is like kind of like code, right? They're not going to be like, we are trafficking spirit bottles, right? That's a crime.
Spirit bottle.
Yeah. So they're a little bit less obvious about it than that. But there's no number associated with this. It does seem to be like crate or cart seems to be the vibe you're getting. You're not entirely sure what that means. Yeah, but it's definitely like a sizable amount. Like even like a if you imagine like the kind of crate that like whiskey bottles or wine bottles would come in, even if it were like 9 or 12 bottles, that's still a lot.
I think Roxandra licks her lips thinking about the possibilities now of what they could do with these spirit bottles, who they could bribe, who we could get favors from. I think she looks at Bo and gives him a wink, taps the paper, and then glances at Wren and Satyr and gives them a grin. I agree. I think this is the one we want.
Wren puts her hand on the stock of her rifle, indicating her readiness.
Okay.
Hell yeah. Sick. I think that is where we wrap this session, episode 1 of Blades of the Dark, Always Bloody in Doskvol. We'll pick up the next episode with the beginning of our gather information check. So everyone will get a chance to gather information on the current score. I will ask you the appropriate score question, which is what type of score this is and what is your entry point to that type. All things I'll explain next time. And then we'll jump into the actual score itself and see how crazy things get. And we'll see what happens. But that is it for this episode of Always Bloody in Doskvol. I hope you liked it. Let us know what you think. Cool. I think that's it. And then we'll do...
I liked it.
Great. Let me know in the chat box down below if you liked it or not. Yeah. You know, I'm not gonna edit this out because I'm lazy. Melissa, do you want to do introductions on this one?
Yeah, let's do. Like you're gonna be posting this, right? So
Yeah,
might
yeah,
as well do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All
let's
right.
go.
Cool. I'm still gonna refer to you because you're running the show, Melissa.
I think we decided I'm not good. Cool.
It was your idea, so I'm keeping you in charge of things.
right.
So we'll jump to the top of my screen right now. So G, who are you? Where can we find you? And what are you up to?
Hi, I'm the Friendly Neighborhood Lightning Invoker online on you could I don't know.
Nailed it. Nailed it.
Who am I talking to? I don't know.
It's going on YouTube. Everyone.
Yeah. Well, you can find me on unMadeGaming, I guess. On
I guess.
yeah.
If you want.
Yeah. You can find me doing all Patreon stuff at unMadeGaming. I'm a mod with unMadeGaming. I'm the community manager with unMadeGaming. So Google unMadeGaming and you'll probably find me lurking around somewhere.
True, she's embedded like a tick. I can't get rid of her.
Yep.
Jumping right over to John. Who are you? Where can we find you? And what are you up to, sir?
I am John. I am Ask Why in the Discord, the unMadeGaming, which I am sometimes around. I am pretty flaky, but on that, but I do sometimes camp out there. And beyond that, play in another unMadeGaming production of Mundus Novus, which we also post and stream on Twitch. And beyond that, don't have too much more presence. So.
Oh yeah, hell yeah. Chris, you're up next. Who are you? Where can we find you? What are you up to?
I'm Chris A.K. Necro. You can find me in the Discord or in the Patreon one-shots or the Patreon campaign here on unMadeGaming. Other than that, Discord.
Yeah, and last but not least, Melissa, who are you? Where can we find you? And what are you up to?
Well, in the unMadeGaming community, I go by Draftier, and you can find me doing Patreon things. And yeah, generally online, mostly you find me in unMadeGaming's Discord and activities, either in chat or sometimes in the stream. Otherwise, you can go to my website, and I invite you to gameswithstories.com. I just finished illustrations for all the new Atari Midnight characters, and I like how they turned out. So you should go check them out.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. That's it for us, friends. I hope you enjoyed this. If not, don't tell me. But that's it from us. We'll see you next time. Bye. Welcome, everybody. This is the after show for episode 1 of Always Bloody in Doskvol. We are here to do some stars, do some wishes, and chit-chat about the show in general, its direction, our thoughts, all these fun things. And we'll start in the same order we did our outros in. So we'll start with G. What are your stars and wishes for episode 1 of the show?
I think stars for everybody. I really liked everyone's introductions. You guys did a really good job getting a feel for the beginning of your characters. I really liked the setting that we came up with for the opera house. I think that's really neat. And I really liked, I keep wanting to say Adonis.
Attican.
I do like Attican. Yes, I do like Adonis, but specifically I'm referring to Attican. Top tier NPC again, as per usual, Mike.
Thanks.
Yeah, I'm sure others can put it into words better than I can, but just how quickly he flows and everything is creepy and gross, but really cool. And it actually made me totally kind of flip my mindset for Hawke quite a bit. Where I want to lean into more of a creepy, unsettling vibe with her. That's why she's kind of leaning in. She would start to lean into his eccentricities or however you say it.
Eccentricity.
Yeah. I'm starting to lean into that a little bit, and that's also how I wanted to switch my contacts around and have my friend now be my enemy and my enemy now be my friend. So so that's a huge star for me.
I highly encourage you to check out Dexter.
I think I'm going to try. Yes,
very good.
I think I would enjoy it. Wishes, a little more on a selfish. I want to be able to figure Hawke out more. She's very kind of bare bones, and I'm just figuring her out as I'm going. And so my wish is to figure her out more.
Okay. Yeah. We'll jump right over to John. What are your stars and wishes from this episode?
Yeah. So my stars, I'm always very excited at a first game number, session 1, simply because everybody gets a chance to kind of set the tone for their characters, and yet still not really knowing what that is yet. And so I think that's always fun. And so my star is really for all 3 of their players, throwing in enough nuggets that I was like, ooh, I want to pull on that thread. Oh, I want to pull on that. Like I want to go after things. So just a couple of things that stood out. I loved Hawke's intro scene coming in from the rain. I thought that was really cinematic. I thought that was really cool. I really loved Beau's description of coming in and basically wearing an axe while we were standing around cleaning. Like that to me, like really set kind of that vibe of like, I don't go anywhere without my axe. So I'm like, there's a bunch I want to say about that. And all of that, and that was fun. And then Wren's, just the interaction, the description of sorrow, I thought was really cool. All of that. I didn't expect the dog, and a spirit ghost dog tribute. That was really neat. So those are just some of the things that jumped out at me that I think will be fun to play with going forward. And then just overall, the setting, and Mike, I do appreciate the way you kind of are, even though you've all played before, but just kind of walking us through kind of each of the stages of the game in and yet still be able to keep up the role play at each part. That was great. So I think that the balance feels pretty good there so far.
Hell yeah.
And then wishes for me, I guess my main wish is that I figure out the accent that I wanted to use. I was practicing this over the last 2 or 3 weeks, this accent I wanted to do. And then when it came time to play, I could not pull it off. I just butchered it a bunch. I tried and I just couldn't quite get it off. And in fact, there were 1 or 2 times when I nearly slipped Scottish in there.
Yeah, you went a little Cyrus in there.
I'm like, stop doing that.
Hear you, Cyrus.
I did it once or twice. I'm like, God damn it, that's a wrong game. And all of a sudden I couldn't do it. So my wish is for myself to either commit or give it up. One of the two. So I'll figure it out. But,
that's the hard part, man. It was we're in. I don't know how many games you're playing total, but I know that we're playing in 3 games together. And the more accents you have in your head for your characters, the harder it gets. I literally have to write notes about this character has this accent, or sounds like this actor to keep them straight. Which is why only some NPCs get an accent or a mannerism. I would lose my mind if I had to keep 27 different people in my head all at once. I'd crash.
As a GM, it's way worse. So.
Yeah.
And then other wishes just to see how our first caper plays out. So that's gonna be exciting. So
Hell yeah.
For me.
Chris, you're up next.
Stars Anakin. I absolutely love the guy. He is one of my heroes now, and he is not what I expected at all.
No.
When I was looking in the crew sheet and I saw that he was an occultist, I was like, oh, okay. An occultist. He didn't say that he was a loon, but I loved him. Not a guy that Bo would ever trust or turn his back on, but great. Loved him. Other star was for getting to see all the characters. Same as John mentioned, it was really cool to see everyone's characters as the opening. I know at least for myself, I missed some bits that I wanted to do or say, but we've got time. And it's so awesome to be at the beginning where we can flesh these out. Which leads me on to my wishes. Stealing from G, I am wishing that I can get the vibe of the character nailed down, but it is session 1 where we are still learning them, so I love that. Yeah, and my other wish is there was some stuff that I missed from the character description, but actually in looking back, it's changed some of my backstory, so I wish I got it right the first time, but I didn't, so we move on.
Hell yeah. All right. We'll see. You have another episode to describe more shit they're wearing, or they have, or what they're doing. You have.
Oh, it's completely changed it now.
Oh yeah,
it's completely changed it. So it's not huge difference, but it's just how I had it pictured in my head.
Yeah.
But that will all come out at some point.
Okay. Interesting. I'm here to see what happens. And last but not least, Melissa, what are your stars and wishes?
I'm going to start with my wish first, and that's also related to character. And it's that, with all of my characters, when I start them new, I think I'm I have a goal that I'm trying to do to kind of expand my capability or whatever. And in this case, for most of my characters, I feel like I lean in on the words that the characters express, and then the expressiveness of their voice, in order to kind of communicate what's going on. And I've said many times how much I admire G and her ability to kind of describe the world and how her characters live in that world. And so I created this character as a non-speaker in order to force me to not speak and try and live in the world and describe the world and interact with the world. And then and then the dog is there. The dog is a mechanical thing, but I was as I was putting all this together, I was trying to figure out what to do with the character. I was well, I should also lean in on the dog, because that'll give me more options of things to do. And the dog is supernatural and was created through supernatural events. And so I love the idea of like expressing one part of her personality through the dog and then another part of the personality through herself, right? And they're kind of like opposites in that way, but still the same character, but expressed in two different ways. And so, like in the same way, a lot of other people have said, "Hey, I want to get this character." I do too. I want to get this character, and I hope I can succeed. Right? I hope I can be successful, and then also through being successful, I can use the skills that I learn in order to be better with other characters. So that's my big wish. For my stars, all of the people who I'm playing with here are at the top of my list of people to play games with. So I'm super happy about that. And I also, Mike knows because I'm always like, Mike, I want to play another game. Do you have time to play another game?
Yes. Turns out
and then,
I do.
And then Chris, we didn't get enough chance to play Age of Always in the last year, I think, just because of like timing and stuff. And since we're off of that, I'm super glad that I get a chance to play a game with you. And then, of course, I get to continue to play with the other two who are also just fantastic. So stars all around for that. And reiterating stars that it was great to see people's introductions, great to begin to get ideas of ways to interact with those characters. And I love the depth that I saw there. And so some of the things that I saw was with Chris and Bo. The intro, as everyone was talking about, and how he's very much shown to be kind of like a doer, pragmatic kind of a character just through like his actions in the beginning. The other thing that I really liked too was in the same way G does stuff, like instead of saying, "Hey, it's time to go, I'm done," like he opens the door. Like that's great. That's really good.
I liked that. Yeah.
And then John, fill their hearts, minds, and souls, not just their bodies, had me cracking up. With a little bit of a blush at the edge of the cheeks, good on you. I also, you didn't decide on your accent, but can I tell you how much I admire the fact that you have the courage to do accents?
Yeah.
100%.
I would love to do like a very soft, like either French or not a French, like Italian accent, but I do not have the courage to even attempt it because I don't want to offend anybody.
Here's the thing. Just don't say it's an accent. Right? Like if you don't don't be like I'm committing to a French accent. Because then people have a basis to compare it against. Just be like, this is the accent. This is just this person's accent. Like I do an Irish accent for some of my characters, and that's not how people from Ireland sound. That's, if anything, how people who speak broken Irish from South Boston sound. That's not the same thing. But like every Irish character I play, or every character that I want to give that accent to, has the same accent. And anytime I play D&D, every drow is French for some reason. Just commit to whatever the accent is. You can tell us what it is if you want, but like just and then just do it. That's the thing is like it's one of those weird things where like you're never going to gain the confidence to do the thing. You're never going to gain the confidence because it's inherently silly, right? Like you have to, you're trying to portray a character and like put all your emotions and all your shit in there, and then you're like, and then he kind of talks like this, and you're like, oh fuck, now it's dumb. Just commit to doing it, and that's the only way you'll build up like the voices. Is just like be like, okay, this is the accent I'm doing. This is it. I'm in. Whatever it sounds like is what it sounds like. I'm doing it.
It's gonna be uncomfortable until it's not.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's only gonna not when you keep doing it.
And you do it enough times, and like in our Vassin game, like it's actually easier for me now to do the like that. It's like the different, like it's like a switch for me. Talking, describing. It's like almost a switch going back and forth. However, that's way more for me. That's way more pressure because literally, like it is like we're set in the real world, right? A fantasy version of the actual world, and therefore there is a place in that case, Scotland. I am trying to go with a Scottish/Irish blend accent because of parental things, but that's an actual real reference. And therefore, yes, I feel very self-conscious of like trying to do it justice. Whereas in this game, it's Aruvian. I can make up whatever the heck I want an Aruvian accent to be, and if I mess it up, that's Aruvian. Like,
Not naming it is very helpful.
Just
so
fully commit to it.
This is a great playground because it doesn't actually connect to anything specific.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I agree.
Sorry to interrupt you. If you're trying to do a French accent for this character, go download the first 2 episodes of the only 2 episodes currently of Worlds Without Number. Their new chapter called Hint. Abria Iyengar plays someone from, I want to say, New York, who went abroad to Paris for a few months and came back with an accent. So she jumps in and out of a French accent, and also like in character is like, I'm just doing this, and then like switches back to her like normal voice. But it is a solid fake French accent, and it's the same accent that I do, which is sound like Lumiere from Beauty and the Beast. All of my French people are with the candle. They're all, every single person, be our guest. Very like forward tongue. How you say, that's a mise en place, you know. And then just commit to your silly bullshit. I fully support it. And here, no one's watching us live, so you can just not read the comments. If someone's like, that accent was poop, no one's watching to judge you live. Melissa, it sounded like you had some more stars or wishes.
I have more stars. There's so many stars. I thought Hawke saying I have certain. First of all, the entry was great. It was awesome as always. It wasn't just that you lived in the world, but you brought the world in with you, and then you like dusted it off with your jacket. I have certain skills. I think really said something about the character. I really loved it. It was a little. I don't know. It was a little nuanced. I really liked it. And then, but more than that, the interactions with Anakin I thought were amazing. I'll get to Mike's excellence in a moment, but like when I get around characters like that, I feel like my brain dies and then I become the dullest character you possibly could be. But you really like amped it up and you like played into it quite a bit. And that I thought was incredible. Thanks for always being like just an awesome role player that I can aspire to be someday. And then Mike, speaking of aspiring to be, dang man, like Anakin was just. Have you ever played that character before? Is that like in your repertoire or
no? I made him up on the spot. I just decided he was a lunatic.
What?
Yeah.
That was
Oh my god.
Man, what? You improv that?
Yeah, I literally wrote a list like as we were in the green room about like who all of your because I was like, I'll be honest with you, I didn't. The hard part about GMing this game is what other people consider the easy part. It's like I have so little to do because almost everything is improv, which is great. Like I don't plan the scores, so I have no idea what's going to happen. What you know about the score is it, and then the next episode when you gather information, if you succeed, I make some shit up, and that is also now fact. And then we go, and I don't know what happens because the way this game works is I don't get to do things. I get to react to you doing things. So if you all roll 6s, you guys get to describe exactly how the score goes. It's not until you roll a 3, a 4, or a 5, and I get to add a consequence, or if you roll a 1 through 3, then I get to add the whole scene of what happens to describe your failure. So I have literally no idea how this goes, other than what I've already said about each score. So I literally made a list. I was like, oh shit, I gotta know who their allies were. And I made a list of your allies because typically the way this goes is someone goes, I'm gonna go talk to so-and-so. And I go, fuck. And I have to like figure it out. So yeah, I didn't realize who your allies were until the show started. So yeah, he's a brand new character that just popped into my brain.
Love it. That's going to be a fun character to return to. I'm
Yeah.
glad it's like our ally,
Yeah.
our group's ally, because that means we get to see him frequently.
Yeah.
And then I just wanted to also +1 what John said about walking us through the mechanics. Thanks for that
Yeah,
too.
Of course. Everyone's new.
And if anybody does watch this and is interested in this game, I think that'll also help them too.
Hell yeah. Stars for me. All of my wonderful players. Every GM says ever. No, seriously. I definitely like I said. Everyone here has played. Sorry, that's not true. Almost everyone here has played the game at least one time. G has played it twice, and John has played it 0 times. It's funny. There's a moment where we can see the new character and new player to new system jitters at the start when I said, "And what do we see?" And everyone went, "I'm not going first. You go first." I'm not going first. You go first.
Kudos to John for going first.
And then I was
So
like,
then you throw the guy that hasn't played this game before first. Thank you, Mike.
exactly. You're welcome. You're welcome. But you jumped right in. You set the scene. And then I made it your problem to decide who goes next, right? So now everyone gets to be forced into going. And I think it was great. I think it worked perfectly. So John, huge star to you for kicking us off, right? I can set the stage, but you are the players. You are the cast. Like, I can only make the paintings and the props and all the things, but you are the ones who have to interact with it. So John, I think you really set the scene by jumping in. And everyone's intro sort of revolved around, like in my mind, I was going to throw it to you and then you throw it to the next person and they were in a completely different part of the theater. But everyone's intro formed around where you were, and like showcased the crew in a completely different way than I anticipated. So amazing intros all around. Amazing job leading that, John. And I think a big star for everyone's character. I think this is the first episode, and we don't know a lot collectively. Like even the players to their characters, the characters to themselves. We don't know a lot, but I think in the brief amount of time we spent with these characters, each one has a vibe, right? Each one has a unique vibe, and I think each of you as players showcased that you're different than generic mooks, right? Like you're not the same in the small amounts of time we had. I think that each person feels completely different than the last, and each person has like a unique subset about them. Like John, like Satyr really feels like a face, right? He really feels, and I think that's kind of one of the vibes we had right here. Hawke really felt like, the way that like in theory a police officer would be like, hey, great job, like trying to like get some information out of a person, taking notes. The way a detective would kind of lead a person into giving them more details. And then I really liked Melissa, the way you're playing Wren. I read your notes, obviously, to see like that's something you want to do is play a silent character or a less talkative character and more interactive with the world environment. And it very much came through. That's a thing you're trying to do, less speaking, more interaction, which is, a lot of good description stuff there. And then Chris with Bo. Chris, we've played in a bunch of games, and you have a very varied array of characters. And I'll be honest, there is an air of mystique around Bo, and I don't know how much of that is you just going, I don't know what this character is yet, or how much he is a legitimately mysterious character. But like the interactions with Bo, I left every scene with Bo going, what's going on with that guy? Like, what's that guy's deal? Like I get everyone else's deal, and I'm like, I don't know about that guy. He's got some shit going on. So I'm curious to see what that shit is. What Bo has going on.
I'll be honest, it's the former, but we can make it the latter.
It could be both, right? He's an interesting guy. Like the interaction with like I think John called it out, the axe, and then just showing up with a mop, and like kind of like shooting a look at Hawke, and then just like opening the door. Like he's also a person of silent action. But it's like it's almost like a like he's not gonna say that we're gonna go do this, he's just gonna start doing something and then just assume everyone will follow or figure it out, which is interesting. Interesting character. So I'm very interested to see how these characters go. No wishes for me, just to see what happens here. Play to find out. But I will ask, G and Chris, you both, actually mostly G, but I also think Chris said this as well, and I think Melissa might have said it as well. We did play a couple of one-shots in the world of Blades in the Dark, and because they were one-shots, I did condense the hell out of them. This episode, however, was all roleplay. Does that feel better? Does it feel more normal?
Very much so.
Hell yeah. Yeah, you can. Go ahead.
This isn't. I don't want to say this is a criticism because I know you're trying to move stuff along in a one shot. But like in the one shots, we didn't even describe what our characters looked like.
That's true, and that's on me.
Which is why in the second game I made a point to go out of my way to describe what my character looked like, just because I was really happy. Like I almost changed this character, like Hawke, to be this new one for this game because I was really like into her vibe. So yeah, but now that but today we got to fully do that. So
I will say I am notorious. What's that?
To play devil's advocate though, for a one shot, you shouldn't actually have to care about the character. I totally
turn
our one
totally
shots
agree.
into campaigns. So, devil's advocate, like we shouldn't care what the character looks like. And what
If it's a one-time character, you're only going to explore for 2 hours, then
or we're going to play multiple scores. And
if only
But this
that
is a
were.
campaign.
If only.
This is our campaign, right? This is where we want to love our characters and develop them and make them into someone that we want to roleplay.
Yes.
So to have this opportunity where we've gone through an episode and we've started to flesh them out and learn about each other, and it does feel a lot better than the one shots did for that. But devil's advocate, I mean, the one shots were great.
Yeah, that's a totally different conversation in terms of I still want to enjoy what I'm playing. You know, I don't want to just play a bland character who's the same every time. So I try to invoke a little spark into every single character I play. So yeah.
I think this episode right here was a good showcase of why I had to condense everything for the one shots, because this was an hour and a half, hour 45 minutes of just role play, and we didn't even get to the part where you figure out what the score is. So impossible to do in a one shot. Impossible. I had to jump right to the score and be like, here's what your job is. Like, I don't even think I do a gather information roll most of the time. I just go here's the job.
Yeah, it's like roll. What are you doing for the roll? Make the roll. That's it. It's like okay, there we go. But then you also did it because you created a really cool NPC with
Attican. Yeah, I didn't even have NPCs in the other games in the one shots because there's no time. There's no time for unfortunately. There's no time for it. Cool. So I'm glad you all enjoyed this. I'm looking forward to the next session, which I do think we have to schedule. But the next session will be the score. That'll be super fun. The gather information roll, the engagement roll, which tells us how fucked you are when it starts, the actual score, and then hopefully we have time for downtime. If not, downtime will start the next episode. And that'll be very cool. But that's it. That's all I got, friends. Thank you for hanging out. Thank you for watching this. Hope you like this. And I don't know, a little plug here. If you do, go watch us over on Patreon. Go subscribe to the Patreon stuff. Do all that fun stuff. That's it for us. We'll see you guys next time. Bye.
See you later.